If good dough, properly baked, makes it difficult to make a bad pizza, then good cheese gets you almost all the way to pizza perfection. I already loved Spain when I began my quest for the best pan pizza, but the world of Spanish cheese both opened my eyes and cemented the love. Here we have 1 kilo, that's about 2.2 pounds, of my current favorite melty pizza cheese, shredded about an hour before making 4 pizzas. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For too long, I labored under the delusion that only dry mozzarella could be used as pizza cheese. My former employers at the pizza shop imported enormous blocks of dry mozzarella from Mama Italia and shredded it in batches, usually enough each evening for the next day's pizzas. They used big plastic containers that sealed up tight. Shredded cheese dries out very quickly. One day, years later, I read that the French use Emmental, and many other countries use their local equivalent of semi-aged cheese on pizza. The unifying factor, however, is that good pizza uses real full-fat cheese. The stuff you can buy pre-shredded at the supermarket is almost always low-fat and more dried-out cheese than you could shred yourself. Opinions vary greatly on how much cheese to top a pizza with, so these are simply my preferences. That said, too much cheese will overflow the crust, or cornicione, and burn when it touches the pan. Too little cheese will likely melt too fast and begin to burn before the crust is nice and crispy. In a future video dedicated to only cheese pizza, I'll go over some techniques to address this problem. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see the size and distribution of the bubbles in this melty cheese. This is one way I determine if a new cheese is a good candidate for the main cheese. I also squeeze the cheese discreetly. So here's our cheese grater, and these 2 pieces that I cut are not going to go in there directly, so I have to cut them a little bit. So I generally go like this. I haven't found the perfect way to do it yet. I go like that, and the same for this one. So it goes in there, and if they still don't go all the way in, sometimes I might cut. I'll show you with this one. Sometimes I'm making a cut like this, put them in at the same time. Right? There we go. So we've got about 250 grams here, and then 250 grams over here. Can you see?
Yeah.
All right, this is the shredder that has the biggest holes, by the way, for this medium soft cheese. Now I've tried with some other cheeses, by the way, that are very good, but they're way too soft, and if you try to shred them in a machine, it just makes a giant mess. These cheeses have the taste and more or less the same feel as a nice dry mozzarella. Generally use this guy to catch the cheese as it's coming out, right? So put a piece in, and I usually put these little guys in there too. Here's our cheese push down machine. On the left is my large hole grater after shredding a nice cheese I bought at a cheese fair in Hinojosa, Salamanca. I'll tell you all about that and several other cheeses in the next episode. For now, though, see the streaks and smears of cheese on the grater? That particular cheese was softer than my current favorite, which is here on the right. You can see that the same grater was notably cleaner. And in the middle is the small hole grater I used for sharper, more cured cheeses. Now, I should have taken photos of the mess I made trying to grate a tierno, or soft goat cheese, but I was too busy cursing and then cleaning that up. Right, so if I am somewhere and I don't have my cheese grating machine, I'll show you what I typically do. Right? I cut into pieces that are, let's say maybe 3 millimeters, 2 to 3 millimeters thick or so, like this. Okay. And then line them back up again, like this. Cut them like so, like so, like so, and then like this. All right, so these are definitely much chunkier pieces than if you put them through the automatic shredding machine, but they still, once you break this up again, this melts pretty nicely. Here we have the kind of situation a pizza maker loves. Bits of varying sizes of various cheeses. Starting at 12 o'clock, a piece of well-aged sheep's milk cheese, añejo de oveja, from the local ranchers co-op Cobado, based in Zamora. I substitute this for the aged Parmesan you sometimes add underneath the dry mozzarella. Continuing clockwise, a bit of Idiazabal, another sharp cheese from the Basque Country, famous here in Spain. At the bottom, a mild blend of cow, sheep, and goat's milk. A nice melty cheese, but maybe a bit too mild on flavor. Finally, on the left, my current favorite Maine melty cheese, also from the local co-op. Until the next episode, pizza!